are here ready to share with you all sorts of different ways to create lead gen and to really get you thinking wider about it. There we are, we're good to go. Here we go. So obviously we want you to use lead gen to build your business. Understanding that lead gen is really your business lifeline. It is the heart and soul of your business, because without customers and without prospects who become customers, you don't really have a business. So we want to help you understand just why lead gen is so important, but also to help you identify the different types of lead magnets, lead gen, lead magnet. So we're going to talk about the difference between those, but we're also just going to differentiate a little bit about what content is and what lead magnets are, so that you get what the distinction on that is. And then we're actually going to look at how do you create them, because that's important too.
Okay, so let's get into the heart of this. So this is something that we get asked a lot. Like, we always make sure that we involve your frequently asked questions in our training so that we know that it's meeting the needs. And one of the things we get asked is, we covered a live about this recently, about the difference between content and paid content.
For sure.
And then this is the difference between content and lead magnet. So they're the step before the paid content, and there is a differentiation point between both of them. And that's the first thing we want to cover, to make sure that you're not getting lead gen confused with your content. But the content itself is really your marketing.
For sure.
Okay, so this is where the content, however you're delivering it, as Facebook Lives or blogs or podcasts or articles, what your intention is for the content is to raise awareness of why that person is experiencing a problem, pain, or you're giving them the suggested solutions and guidance to put them on the right pathway of how they can actually get what they want as their achievement and their aspiration. But you don't solve the problem in the content.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
All you do is you raise awareness of why they have it and give them some tips. And give them an outline or a roadmap of what they need to do in order to go next steps, but don't take them all the way to the end.
No, and the thing is, to some people, it can actually feel like you're giving them the full answers, but you know there's more. So your job is to kind of gauge what the more bit is.
Now, when you've done content versus lead magnets, people have to have an exchange with the lead magnet. People need to opt in. Now, lead magnets often aren't paid. They can be. You can have a tripwire of something sort of sub £10, which some people might class as a lead magnet. But in general, they're free. The exchange is that you get that person's first name, is probably all that you need at the first touch,
For sure.
and their email address. The more that you ask for on that opt-in form, aka phone number, address,
optional,
inside
even last name, can be an off-putting one.
So all those things will reduce the conversion ratio of people opting in.
Yeah.
So we like it, if it's going to be an early touch, like the first thing they've ever done with you, just ask for their first name and their email address. And that's the exchange for the information.
For sure. Because it's something of value for something of value. So if you think about it, my name is the most valuable thing about me. My email address, you being able to connect to me, is a valuable thing. So that's the perception that you want to play with.
And the way it works is they would have enjoyed your piece of content, and their piece of content has raised their awareness.
Yeah.
The lead magnet encourages them and facilitates them to take some action. Okay, so that's why there is this bit of this exchange that Helena was talking about, because you're actually giving them ways to apply the information. It's not just like, oh, this is nice shelf help I'm gonna put up there and I'm never going to do anything with. Let's take it to the next step. So we'll talk about user journeys later on, but this is taking them to actually taking the first step in the direction of where you're going to support them as a speaker, author, or coach to their end result. So this is why you want the lead magnet to be able to give them a small result. They're going to go, yeah, I'm going to be able to do this, or I've got some proof, I've got some results at the end of the implementation. And that's why they're willing to share their details, because there's an exchange. Now, the images at the bottom here are just us giving you a bit of an example. And by all means, go and check these out. But we did a Facebook Live sometime last year, maybe, I don't know, whenever you watch this. We've done a Facebook Live on the importance of doing discovery calls in your business. So the Facebook Live, if we're looking at content versus lead magnet, was content. Anyone can watch it. It's on our page, it's accessible, so no sign-ups required. That Facebook Live taught people about how discovery calls increase your conversion ratio, your sales, the rapport that you have with prospects, and it basically helps streamline your business to make it more automated when you're doing funnels and onboarding. So all of that, I think you just put the link in, so that's great.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch that Facebook Live, one, you might find it useful, but two, you can see all we're doing is raising awareness of why they might not be converting, why they basically can't get people onto their coaching programs, and also we give them some advice
for sure
on types of systems that you could use to book these discovery calls. The call to action at the end of that Facebook Live was to opt in to our lead magnet, which is on the right hand side, which was basically how we taught you how to structure a discovery call. We told you the questions that you have to ask, the systems and the formats that you should have in place, so that you know that you're ready to go and you're going to make that conversion happen at the end of that call.
For sure.
Now that document is in your expert assets part of Changemaker. We don't have to opt in and download it, it's already in there.
Yeah.
But we're showing you the difference of the content from the Facebook Live to then the lead magnet, and what they're able to do from that lead magnet is go, oh, well now I can run a discovery call because I have everything I need.
And they may not even have realized or thought to put a discovery call in their process. That's what your content raised the awareness of, but they then still have this little, okay, I like the idea of it, how do I do it? And then you go, here's how to do it.
And then you think, well, hang on a minute, there's no payment in that for us.
Yeah.
But what we do from there is we would tag them in our CRM system to say that they're a coach, because coaches are the ones that will be running discovery calls the most.
For sure.
We also then know that they're interested in increasing their conversion ratio and their sales.
Yeah.
And they're also interested in streamlining their business.
For sure.
So that is a perfect indication for us that Changemaker Central, where we talk about managing your business and all of the things that you need to have in foundation place, is the sale that we want to build an email nurture campaign to at the end to say, because we've helped you with this, because we've helped you with this, let's tell you with some people where we can help with sales conversion, let's give you a case study, let's give you some more extra bonus items, and then
value and more value.
Say, look, would you like us to help you with your coaching business to really, take it to the next level? And so the lead magnet will have its own specific nurture campaign to a product that's linked to that avatar and that avatar's needs that you're already aware of. Otherwise, they wouldn't have downloaded the lead magnet in the first place.
And when Kelly says it's linked to that avatar or that kind of need that they have, it may also be that it's linked specifically to the product that they've just shown an interest with. So there are a couple of levels at which you might actually kind of take them down that journey, but we're about to talk about that.
So that's the difference, just so you mop up any confusion before we get going.
So here's the thing. Lead gen in and of itself is the thing, as I said earlier on, it's the thing that keeps your business alive. It's the thing that actively, you need to keep having people be interested in your business for your business to survive. So, if sales dry up, it's usually because you've exhausted that very small pool of people that you've gone, have this thing, and then this thing, and then this thing, and you've bought everything I have. Right. Okay, good. So the thing is the smaller the pool you have, the quicker you are going to run out of people. So you always need to be, because people are going to drop out at the end of it because you've done a magic job with them. And as we say, a magic job with them. You said a magic job. No, dog. Also that.
Is this like, I don't know?
Yes, that's right. Magic dogs. It's always going to happen, isn't it? It's always going to happen. So here's the thing. Because you work your solution with them, and if they've you know, done everything that you can do for them. You know how we say there's somebody who has your customers before you and somebody who has your customers after you. If you've done a really good job and they've bought everything you've got, you're going to run out of people. So we always need to be having new people coming in, and that's what lead gen is all about.
Especially if you know that we can't expect that if you've got 100 people in your network that all 100 are going to buy, right? So it's also going back to the business tracker and knowing what your targets are and reverse engineering that goal to have an understanding. You know, if what we've done in the content spotlight is that 3% of people will even see your Facebook post in your on your page. So do you think if you've got 100 people in there, 3 people are seeing the post, and then how many people are actually going to do anything, take action?
Exactly.
So we just want to get realistic with you on numbers and impact.
For sure. And so, because here's the thing, as it says here, you know, consistent leads build consistent growth, and actually consistent lead gen means that you can build not just consistent growth, but you can also do scalable growth, you know, so that's up to you to determine how aggressively am I going to go out and build my pool into a pond, into a sea, into a lake. Ocean. Yes, that's exactly it. You know, it's like, but here's the thing, right? Leads then turn into sales if you're well worth your salt, and you'll have a conversion rate kind of on there, but a number of leads equals a number of sales, which equals your business being sustainable. And you, of course, as Kelly's just said, through your business tracker, are setting those targets for it. But you need to consistently be building that pond, lake, sea, etc. Because if you've actually got a tiny network of people, you're going to exhaust it, but also energetically, you're going to not feel very connected to it, but also people are going to look and just go, is this really worth it for me? Is this the person I want to actively kind of have served me with this?
That's the small network syndrome,
exactly,
because you don't have the results.
For sure.
So then you start to doubt, is this product worth it?
Yeah.
The social proof isn't there for other people. They go, well, actually, there's not many people following this or buying this. So is it that good? So, you know, this is why when people launch too early, I've had a couple of people in the hub ask this question, is actually, I've got 300 people on my list and 50 people on my group. Is it too early to launch something, or should I be focusing more on lead gen and building my database before I do anything? And in if that's one of the questions that you have, our advice would be beta test at that stage.
For sure.
Get some credibility, get some market research, get some testimonials, get some proof for you and for the audience.
It will do your confidence the world of good, and that's actually what you're going for. But it also means that as you put out new lead magnets, as you have people come and look you up and, you know, check out your services, so to speak, you feel proud, and I'm going to use that word, you feel proud that actually you've created something that really works. Because sometimes if you're really starting out, you can actually doubt that, and that's where the beta testing element comes in. So
one thing,
go on,
is you have to know your numbers.
You do,
right? Because we're not
saying
that all of you have to have groups of hundreds of thousands, because some people might be high net worth clients and they're B2B, and actually they don't need many leads coming in because their conversion is high and their capacity is low.
And they're choosing that. You might choose to only have 10 people in a quarter. That might be all you serve because of the nature of what you do.
So the point here for small network syndrome is to know your number that you need to sell.
Correct.
And then reverse engineer the size of impact of database and social media network to have the conversion that is your conversion ratio. And we'll do a little bit more about that later.
So we for sure, we'll actually kind of do you a demo. So the next key thing really here is that the lead gen, not only is it vital, but it's evergreen. So it's something that actually solves a problem that reoccurs for the new people that are coming in. It is something that is absolutely front, you know this image, you know, it's kind of front and center. It's like, I have this problem. So it's something that isn't on trend necessarily. It is something that is a problem the whole time for you in your industry, or for your avatar in your industry as it's based. So you know, you need to be the problem solver for your avatar. That's where the listening comes in around what are you providing that is of great value to them that solves that problem. That's your job. And they have more than one problem.
And we're not saying you can't have a lead generation that isn't on trend. Like, so for example, you've done something around COVID, for example, right? But we're saying you do need to have some lead magnets that are constant.
Yeah, there are like cornerstone pieces for you that actively will consistently be the thing that people go, oh, that's just what I need, right? And so that's you really hitting that problem, nail on the head, and actively going, and here's the solution, the tiny solution for it. So we're actively saying, please don't just have one lead magnet. 1 to 3 is a really great start, because you want to be coming at it at slightly different angles so that you capture and build your pond into whatever it is. So the thing about this is, I'm going to ask Kelly to, okay, we'll do them all in one go.
Oh, sorry. I'm just a bit eager.
Yeah, she's just eager. So the thing about this is a lead gen, the content is actually the format of your lead gen can really exist in any of the, the content can exist in any format. That's what I'm trying to say. So what we're saying here is some of the lead gens might be about, it might be best suited to a report, something that they can read, something that they can actively use, maybe even print out and have hanging somewhere in some way. That might be anything from a checklist through to a 4-page report. But you get the idea that it's something they can read. That's for the people who like something auditory, but also something visual in that way. And it can be definitely a checklist, a grid of some kind. It's a very visual piece a lot of the time.
That's normally my style, because this is how we differ, right?
Yeah,
is that Helena will watch videos and listen to...
No, I won't. I'll listen.
Oh, yeah.
I won't watch a video, good God. No. But I will listen to the video. So I will have a video going on in the background, and if somebody's actually kind of showing something, then I might pay attention, but I will listen first and then I will do it. So that's what the microphone's for here. So it might be that you actually just do MP3s, but it might also be that you do videos, which is the next one along, or webinars in some way. The other way of doing it is also, it could be that you actually have an app or something interactive that allows people to actively partake of your lead magnet so that they're interacting with it. So some people are much more kind of kinesthetic with it, and they want to be able to do something with it.
So that could be an assessment.
For sure.
But it could also be a challenge or a competition or something like that.
Yeah, active engagement in some way. So auditory, kinesthetic, visual, and sometimes just that activity-based edutainment.
Or competitive.
Yes. And again, there we differ.
Okay, so let's get into some of the, embellishing on some of those points. This is just a short list, but it gives you an idea of some of those things, looking at those different learning styles. And what we would say around these different formats of lead magnets is that whatever format you've got, make it short, make it inhalable content, and make it actionable.
And only one problem. Only one.
So and it's really niche, it's really targeted, and it's really succinct. So when there is a PDF guide that someone's downloaded and I open it up and it's 112 pages, right? I would say the sweet spot for some sort of guide is really 3 to 10 pages max, okay? And those are not A4 pages of text. That's broken down into imagery, to call out boxes, to, little quotes and stuff like that, to really break up the reading so it doesn't feel like a chore.
And what I'm going to say about that is, and we're going to talk about this in a couple of slides time, that may be about timing, about when you present that type of lead magnet to them.
Yeah. But if we look at these types of things, we really want each of these resources to be really under half an hour worth of their time to consume, right? Whether that's read it, whether that's take that quiz, should be like 5 minutes to take a quiz. Yeah. If it's an MP3 and it's a guided meditation, then half an hour max.
For sure.
Same with webinars. In our we've got a monthly spotlight on how to run webinars. and it breaks it down for you about the length of the webinar and what you should do at each point. Cheat sheets and checklists should literally be 1 page, 2 pages max.
Consumable.
And inhalable, isn't it?
Yes,
they just
that's
do
right.
that and they go, okay.
I would say like roasting in his dinner, but that wasn't evident today.
Competitions and challenges, obviously when you run a challenge, that's normally over 5 days.
Yeah.
But the actual time that it takes them to do daily shouldn't be more than half an hour.
For sure.
And then competition entries are different.
Yeah.
Ebooks is the only thing that I want to sort of flag up on this one for a form of lead magnet. We want to acknowledge it because it is a lead magnet. My point with ebooks is, you might relate to this, is that people want to download them. So they get people's attentions and you get them opted in. However, they fail, I believe, on the next point, which is the purpose of a lead magnet, which is to take action. Yeah. Because most people have ebooks on their desktop that they haven't read, or they might have read the first chapter or the first page. Yeah. Most people won't finish them. So that means that lovely bit of information and support
that
and
you
guidance,
slaved over,
they haven't read that. So therefore they're stuck at stage 1 on your user journey going, I should read that one day, but they're not willing most of the time to do the next step until they've read that book, and they're never going to read that book.
And the thing about that is, and we are going to talk about how you kind of get this happening. The only way I would want you to do an ebook for exactly this reason is if you then actually have a campaign that allows them to know what they're missing out on by not reading it.
Yeah. Or it might be a read along side of things where it happens over 5 days or whatever,
for sure,
half an hour. But it's, you know,
yep.
But that's my only caveat with this one, is the ebook is a good download, but it doesn't serve its purpose of actually moving them down the funnel.
You want them to be able to take action. They need to understand the concept. They need to then connect to it and go, oh yeah, I need that. And then they need to go, and that sounds easy enough for me to apply it. Let me go do that now or tomorrow.
Yeah, brilliant. And just as Shiggy joins, I haven't put audiobook down there. Yeah. But it's still the same thing, but normally that audiobooks are paid for rather than lead magnets. Yeah. And then video series. What do I mean by video series? Some people have a short series of 3 to 5 videos over a week, which is recorded, and that again solves one problem, but it's a bit more of a, you know, those videos shouldn't be more than 10-15 minutes a day, because they're again inhalable content that they can work their way through. It's like a mini challenge but no interaction side of things.
Exactly. So let's talk you through this. So most of you should recognize this diagram. It is of course the product range, or indeed, as we like to say it, the user journey that you're going to take people through on. And so we've hinted at this just before when we were saying that your job is to usually, you know, that first stage between the red carpet and the bar. Most of your lead magnets are about attracting people into even getting their attention and shining the light on you. You on the red carpet, we're going, I've got the answer, I've got the answer, you want to come over here. That's what your lead magnet is doing for you at this stage.
And then when they've done that, they go, oh my God, that's so good. Jane, you need to hear it. And they start sharing it out, and it goes viral via the paparazzi.
Which is really good. And so it's really important that you understand for yourself, what is the purpose of the lead magnet that I've created? Does it sit here at the red carpet going, come on in, come on in. I've got the solution to your problem. If you're stuck, come, because that's what's going on here. You may also have, and we would suggest that about 80% of your, certainly 70 to 80% of your lead magnets will sit at this stage, because they're out there addressing different issues that people have at that very first stage of the user journey. Because you want to get them to know you and the fact that you have the results and have the answers for them, so that they can continue on the journey. The next stage is the bar, where you're still earning the right with them, but this is where that slightly longer guide might come in, because they've been in your world for a little while and they're maybe starting to just go, I need to delve in a little bit more. So you might create a webinar. That this might be where a webinar is going to sit.
The bar is the social area, right? So this lead magnet needs to be social, which is where challenges, which is where things where actually people, you know, if there's a webinar and people can connect, or it might be some sort of like online event, like an online summit or whatever that's free, is a lead magnet. You know, those types of things are where people can actually connect and learn from each other, the community building aspect of lead.
But they're also experiencing the wisdom, and they're experiencing the
culture,
knowledge, and yeah, exactly. So you know, they're starting to get a feel for, I like it around here, and that's really what you want to do. So if you think about it, the at the very first stage, it's probably consumable by me, by myself, at home. I'm thinking about my problem. Yeah, that's exactly it. Then your next kind of level, or your next step in the user journey, might well be these more interactive, community-led pieces. You may or may not have a lead gen sort of that brings people into the show. That may be more specifically to the people who are already clients, but you're moving them through your user journey.
And just on that, on the show, because we probably wouldn't have lead magnets for yellow and green.
For sure.
However, for us, for the show, our retreat is one of our show things.
For sure.
And we actually have a questionnaire that you have to fill in before we even accept you onto the retreat. So you could see that as a lead gen, because then that covers into a discovery call, and then it covers into a sale.
For sure.
So you could look at that, even though most people at that stage already know that they want to come, so it's not really lead gen, it's more of a closing process.
And what we are going to say is that for some of you, and I know we're blurring the lines a little bit here, but for some of you, you may have a little product like the tripwire that Kelly was just talking about. I like to call it a welcome mat myself. I don't like tripwires, but you know.
I love welcome mat. I always forget that.
I know. I do. It's just nicer, right? Hello, would you like to trip over this wire, or would you like to be welcomed in? Let's do that. So it might be a tiny paid product, but it could also be something relatively inexpensive, like our Connect and Create Day, that actively brings people into, again, our world, which then leads them into some of the others.
And we're going to talk about channels in a minute.
We are. So let's do this. So here's the thing. Here's what happens when they actually sign up. So the thing in the middle, don't worry about peering at your screen, trying to make it bigger and everything else. It's not going to do that.
You're welcome, Matt.
Oh, good. It's genius. Oh, I like that you like that. It's good. So yeah, so please don't worry about the thing in the middle. I want you to think about that as a representation of you designing the user journey inside your CRM system.
Flow, isn't it? So it's the flow. Whatever campaign you might have, or what CRM system, this is the flow. They do this, they do this, they don't do this, they do this, they don't do this. So
yeah,
ours probably, if we printed ours out,
it'd be a bit scary,
a bit big for our campaigns, because we do like to go into a bit of detail, but they can be simple.
But the thing is, what we're saying here is that you are in charge. You know, go like this, you're in charge. You're in charge of mapping out the experience that they have with you. And you do that through bearing in mind that we're doing value for value. You give them a piece of value, they give you their email address. You are now have the ability to communicate with them via email. And that is where this mapping out the journey is really coming into its own. So here's the thing. Once they've signed up, you need to be thinking about a few things, because that's gonna help you design the user journey that they're gonna take with you for each of the actual lead magnets that you've got. Some of them will dovetail and will kind of fall into the same campaign, but some of them may well be, as we've got over here, it might be the timing of your lead gen. So the thing about this is you want to be thinking about what is the purpose of this lead magnet and where does it sit in that journey. And that then leads you into that little next piece, which is you are establishing the need that your avatar has behind them clicking the button and going, yes, I want that. And that allows you to data segmentate. It allows you to tag people. As Kelly said just before, we tag the coaches when they go discovery call and we go, oh, that's highly likely. So if we've got anything else coming up for them, we can search for that and then support them through other value pieces of content that we have for them.
So when we say data segmentation,
good.
It's really good in your CRM system to have lists and name the list the lead magnet that they came in from.
For sure.
So we have a CRM matrix list. We know all those people have downloaded our lead magnet to discover and compare our CRM guides.
Yeah.
We have, you know, people that speak on stages, the speakers that want that one. But we can then go, okay, hang on a minute. We've got a list here of people that we all know that are speakers.
Yeah.
If we were going to launch a speaker-specific product, I could go to the list and send out a broadcast email just to those people in that list saying, as a speaker, because we know that they are, you'll be interested in this. Now, I think I've used this example before where you can go into personalization and tagging and data segmentation.
This is where the yes/no indications start to come into their own. She gets a bit geeky. I'll rein her in.
I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but you can make your customers feel so understood, recognized, and bespoke, right? If you're running a retreat for women and you've got men and women on your database, believe me, it pisses them off when you send it to the men, because they go, but can I not come?
Yeah.
Well, why did you bother sending me the email if I can't come?
Yeah.
So this is why it's really important to know as much about your database and to data segment if it's important for you, females, age,
for sure,
interest, blah, blah, blah. People feel like you're not just a number on their database.
For sure.
So this is why we're saying, not only are we doing it for flow, but the more you understand and the more you segregate is the more you're going to get conversion from your emails.
And the conversion comes from the connection, and the connection comes from you knowing them. So that's what we're doing here. We're building a relationship. So part of that sequence is then you're going to be asking them to do a next step. You're going to be asking them to do something, but you want to be thinking about what is your follow-up option? What is it that you are willing to do in your business? But it's going to be, do you want them to jump on a discovery call with you? Do you want to actually take them into further sequences of emails or more value-added stuff? Maybe it is just about getting them onto your newsletter so that you can regularly broadcast out to them. It might well be that you start to retarget them with some ads because they have opted for a particular thing that they're going for, and you have a product that you can kind of begin gently stalking them because you know that they have that need. Or indeed, it might be that the end result that you're going for is to invite them to more of the bar type of event or challenge or webinar that allows them to, again, get a little bit more connected than just having read or listened to something. Mm-hmm. So you want to be clear. Part of your user journey is to define, where do I want them to go? So what action do I want them to take next? But you also need to know, what am I selling them? Right?
What's the point of putting them into my system, right?
Sort of like, because show me the money, baby. Show me the money, right? So you want to have that upsell in there, but you also want to understand what the downsell is, because not everyone is going to take your upsell. So what is the lower level thing in your user journey that you can actively do and kind of present to them? So that might even be, back to the welcome mat, it might be as simple as, oh, well, if you're not quite ready for this yet, start here. And then this last little piece here is around the follow-up in general. So how are you going to continue to connect and add value to this particular lead so that, because you might have a sequence written exactly as we've just been talking about, but what happens at the end of that? Have you thought about that? And that's where this whole map kind of starts to come in. It's like, well, when they finish this, then we want them to go over here. And that's where the more sophisticated your system is, something like Active Campaign, Keep by Infusionsoft, those types of things can do these yes/no indications around, well, they've already had these things, and did they buy? So what else can we offer them? So it's going to do some of that work intelligently, but you are in charge of mapping it out.
Yes. Okay, so this is one thing I was alluding to at the beginning, because it's really important that, we're not saying that everybody has to have hundreds of thousands of people and lead magnets coming through every month. What is important is that you know your outcome,
For sure.
You know your targets, because then you can reverse engineer to your clients, to your needs, to your income, and make sure it's bespoke for you. So it's not this cookie cutter approach that we hate and we don't teach. Now, I'm going to use this as an example because it just reverse engineers it in place. So let's say, for example, you've just done what Helena said, and the reason for you creating this lead magnet is because you have something you want to sell at the end. And in this example, you want to sell 100 online courses. Okay, so they're just putting any example out here, but you just created a digital program and you want to sell 100 courses. Now, when you work off average conversion ratios of sales and average conversion ratios of opt-ins, this is how you can reverse engineer that goal. Oh, press the wrong button. So most people would say, if you're not trained in sales, the average person will convert between 6 to 10%
For sure.
of leads into the product that they want. So I'm going to be optimistic here, and also it's much easier for a round number for 10 than it is for 6, because I'm
especially for us.
So let's say you're going to have 10% conversion ratio. What you need to know as an individual is what your conversion ratio is. Right? We have a higher conversion ratio than 10, but that's just because we've done a lot of work and a lot of training. But you've got to know your numbers to know this. Worst case scenario, we're going to go for 10. If you needed 10% of people to sell 100 courses, and say, for example, you've created your lead magnet as a Facebook challenge, you're going to need 1,000 people to register, opt in, and take part in your Facebook challenge, right? Because 10% of 1,000 people will then buy the course at the end of it. Obviously, the course needs to be related to what the challenge is.
Yeah. For those of you who are freaking out right now, notice your freak out and go, oh, I don't have anywhere near as many people in my lead pool as I should do. Right? Good to know.
Good to know. So the next point is then we look at the lead magnet and how many people that lead magnet will need to be seen by in order to convert into 1,000 people taking part of the challenge. And that means...
Why have you got 40% there?
Because that's what the conversion ratio is.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I'm done
30, yeah, that's cool.
So 2,500 people would need to have seen your advertisement, your post, your opt-in page, the actual landing page where they register, where they give their first name and their email address to opt in to take part of the challenge.
Sure.
You want to be aiming for a 30 to 40% conversion ratio on your opt-in pages to be good, right? Anything below them, we need to be tweaking copy and images and blah, blah, blah. So you want to be looking at, and this is when if you're using software like leadpages.net, it shows you instantly your impressions, which is how many people have seen your opt-in page, and your conversions, which is how many people have actually given their email address and their name and opted in. And so it will show it as a percentage, and you want that to be 40% or higher. But this shows you, when we were talking about small network syndrome at the beginning, this is when we go, okay, so you want to sell 100 courses, and they go, they've got their lead magnet, and then we say, and they go, it's not converting.
That's right.
And we go, how many people have seen the page that you're advertising your lead magnet on? And then what's your conversion ratio? And when we show people figures like this, it is a reality check, guys, right? Because it's not that hard to get 2,500 people to see a bit of content. If you're doing what we suggest of joint partner, joint venturing, you know, being on other people's podcasts, using other people's networks. If you've got a small network, there are so many opportunities, and you've got Facebook ads if you've got budget. It's not hard.
Can I say something?
Yes.
So this is why you want to have more than one lead magnet, because of course different lead magnets are out there doing different jobs, so that actually that adds to your pool of the 2,500 that allows you to actually be seen by people. You knowing what your conversions are, what the business's conversion is around, you know, people seeing things, to people opting in, to you converting people in sales, whether you're doing that automatically or indeed whether you're doing it through, you know, this could be the same scenario for you getting those 10 clients that you want in a quarter. You know, so it might be you want 10 clients, okay, that's 100 calls, which is, but
this is different,
this is the thing.
So if you were doing discovery calls, your stats are going to be completely different.
And that's the thing.
So I think Helena probably closes 9 out of 10 of the people that she's on.
Pretty damn good at it.
So you can look at the 90% conversion ratio from a discovery call opt-in. But the discovery call opt-in, we don't promote that much because we only allow one person to have a VIP day with us as our one-to-one coaching. So we haven't got capacity. There's no way I want this amount of people going through that lead, because we wouldn't be able to facilitate that.
And that's why we say to you, you need to have a user, you know, a product range that has a different variety of products, different ways that people can sample you, different products that you can sell at different price points that allow you to do this thing. These are some of the things that will support you and help you to create your lead magnet. So we think you get that different lead magnets good, a higher number of lead magnets good, solving problems good, How do you make them look snazzy, sexy, and
brand.
amazing? Canva.com. Some of you are also obviously Crello fans,
Yes.
which we also really like. We like a little bit of that. But the point here is you can make things look beautiful. Whether you have a VA, a PA, or somebody to do it with you, for you, absolutely brilliant. But actually, you have no excuses.
I think if you look at in the expert assets, I don't think there's anything in there that hasn't been created in Canva.
I agree.
From matrices to workbooks to guides to well, just everything basically. There's a PDF version.
For sure.
It's all done in there. So I love the fact that they have so many different templates that you can use, and it is literally just drag and drop, fill your stuff in, brand it up in your colours and your logos, and off you go. And
it's not often we say this, but you really truly have no excuses. Like if you have an idea and you can do it in a Word document, you can usually lay it out and create it.
My extent of creativity is stickmen.
Truly, I've seen it.
And I can make things look quite good in Canva.
Yeah.
And also you've got the excuse that there is a free version that does pretty much most things.
For sure.
So we can't even have that as an excuse.
Yeah.
So if you're not on Canva, you or your VA get on it.
And the point that we're making here is it's more than possible for you to listen to and identify 3 problems and create 3 different things that actively can go out there and do the work of going, I'm here, I have the answer. The thing here is so that's number 1. Don't let it be an excuse that you can't actually make a lead magnet. The second excuse that people usually have is, but where do I put it? And my website isn't ready, or I've got website shame, or I don't know how to do it, or yeah, exactly. Well, that's where squeeze page software, like leadpages.net, there's a whole raft of them out there, but we happen to like lead pages.
Well, we always recommend what we use.
Exactly. So that helps you create these mini websites where the only thing they can do is one call to action, which is sign up for your lead magnet. And that makes it really easy for you then to have that onboarding nurture sequence that actively then allows them to get to know you even more, which is where the email nurture campaign comes in. I'm just going to put the link in.
Oh yeah, cool. That's why you're doing that. So on the other reason why we like lead pages, 1, because it shows you that conversion and impression ratio really simply for each one. So you just have to log on to your dashboard and you can see them all, and you can work out the average of all of your lead magnets if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, is it allows you to host opt-in pages for all different styles.
Yes.
So if you've got a giveaway, like a
webinar,
a
giveaway,
like a PDF download, then they've got ones for that.
For sure.
They'll have a webinar one, they'll have an event one, they'll have all the different ones, and it's all tested by the big marketers, the Frank Kerns, the Brendan Burchards of the world, who are testing the format and is a countdown clock actually more convertible for a webinar?
Or does it belong at the top or at the bottom?
Should it have
you don't have to worry about any of that.
It gives you the ones that are the highest converting templates, so you just drag and drop your copy and your imagery in.
So you don't even have to think about how it has to look. You just put your own words in.
And then the final thing is that you can create the thank you pages as well in this, and even sales pages if you wanted to.
For sure.
So that you don't have that thing of, oh, my website's not ready, or all the problems, or I can't afford to pay my web designer to build another page.
No excuses. None. Now, the other thing that you definitely do need, whichever way you're doing this, is obviously that CRM system that we said laying out the user journey kind of works with, because you need to be able to send them out not only the thing that they've just actively asked for, but you then need to do this nurturing. And a lot of people do the thing where they literally just say, hey, here's your thing.
And that's it.
What? Like, what? No, that's a missed opportunity right there. So that's where this email nurture campaign comes into its own.
How many of you have created something, people have opted in, and you've never done anything with those people that have opted in afterwards? Yeah, completely.
Seriously?
And you're just like,
dude, twice.
That's bad. Twice is not allowed.
Well, twice, admittedly under different businesses. but it was one of those but we make excuses for ourselves. It's like, you've got to actively make the lead magnet work for you. And these are the things that make it work for you. So you also at this point, hopefully have the ability to tag people, data segment, so that you can tag them for later. And that's because you've done a user journey, so you know where they're headed, you know what you'd like them. There might be 2 options, the upsell and the downsell, that you might actively have, right? So that's one of the things that you might also need if you are choosing to go down the webinar route. You need some way of running a webinar that actively means you can put a link in and you can offer that to them and have that on that landing page, lead page.
We like Zoom because, well, it's got lots of capabilities of what we want it to do.
But the whole thing about it is whichever webinar software you're using, it has the ability for people to register. And when people register, that is you capturing that lead and then being able to do something else with them.
And that's why it's really important to know that your webinar software links to your CRM system. Because
Correct.
if they don't talk, you're going to get all these people opted in, and then you're going to go, oh, I have to download that export list as a CSV, and it never gets done.
It gets put in the too hard box. Too hard box.
Or too boring.
Well, or both, unless you're a geek like her or me, as you do. But anyway, so speaking of little bit the geeks in some way, the quizzes that we talked about, quizzes are high converting tools. People will spend the 5, 10, 15 minutes trying to figure out who they are or why they've got the problem that they've got. So quizzes are absolutely amazing, and dynamic or intelligent quizzes are even better.
And intelligent quizzes means that they get pretty much a bespoke answer for what they have. So that it's not just again, a shoehorn, one size fits in, very broad generic terms. They really feel heard, and then it takes them to the next step afterwards.
For sure.
Right, so there's one more thing to do on this one before I go forward.
This is, in essence, the steps that you need to do. This is your marketing flow diagram. So this is, you start at the top, you have a link, you have a post, that content that we were talking about right at the top of the hour, which then leads them through to an opt-in, which leads them through to a thank you page, which also adds them to your CRM list. And the CRM delivers your first email, which you've written. That email does deliver them through a link where they can go and download it from somewhere like Dropbox. So it's quite important that you actively have somewhere else rather than just your website, etc., because it's a specific link that they can go and pick it up from.
And don't attach it as a file in the first email, because then that goes into spam, it gets blocked. You want to have a link that takes them to a storage site like Dropbox or Amazon or wherever it might be.
Give yourself the best opportunity to help them, right? So as clean as possible is what we're saying. After that first email, you have then written a sequence of emails that add value and add more value and add more value, which is that nurture campaign, whether it's 3, 5, or 8, as we suggest altogether, that actively invite them to do various things, that actively get them to know you a little bit better.
And
one of which,
them.
for sure, yes, exactly, because you know what they're clicking on, you understand what they're opening, and you understand where their interest is. You might even tag them even further as you do that. One of those things we highly recommend, if you have got a Facebook group that has to be in there, please, please, please do invite people through to your Facebook group in some way.
Yeah, we always have it that either one or the other, that they've got a massive Facebook group, and then we go, how many people are in your email database? And then or a really big database list, and I'm like, have you told
each other about
you know, what they can opt in for, or the fact that there is a group? Oh no, that's part of the onboarding sequence, right?
Now, the bits in purple at the bottom are the important bits, because prospect to customer, because the email nurture sequence also then makes that offer that we talked about, whether it is that, woohoo, we've got this all singing, all dancing upsell, please come and get it here. And or you may have a sophisticated enough system to go, oh, I don't want that, but actually, did you want this one as well? You may actually have some sort of sales page that's presented for people where you can make your offer, and hopefully they go, dang, I love these people. I just want some of that. Here's my money. Thank you so much. And that then leads you through to whatever product platform, whether it's an online
course.
Take the payment first. Sorry, that was me saying, can I have the money now, please?
Choose Stripe, PayPal, whatever it is the merchant account to take the money.
Yeah. And then it needs to be delivered, whether that's through Thinkific, whether that's through your own website, Amazon S3, all of these things. But we're saying these things not to confuse you and not to kind of freak you out, but simply to say there is a flow that you can follow.